Namaste all. Hope you're well if you're tuning in with me live, if you're going to be with me this present moment. Thank you for tuning in. If you're looking through the archives and you're tuning in at a later date, thank you also, and I hope you have a good practice. This practice will be the Hatha flow, intermediate level practice, so always mindfully applying. Feel free to play around, but no pressure, no force. Come in as far as you're comfortable. Ever feel like you've gone too far, just come back a step, or as is necessary, and work from there. To begin, we'll be in any comfortable seated position, so you can choose a cross-legged variation or any meditative position where you can maintain a lifted spine. Adopting a mudra that you're comfortable with, any variation welcomed, or you can just allow the hands to simply rest easy. Sitting as tall as you can, eyes closed and the mouth closed, and we'll just take a few moments to really land, to arrive, and just to create a little space for yourself in your practice. And as you work towards creating this space, you're not trying to suppress, you're not trying to push away any thoughts. Instead, we'll encourage a gentle shift of the awareness as you take a moment to check in through the physical body. Note how physical body feels this afternoon. Any areas of holding, any areas of tension, or perhaps body feels good. Making a similar inquiry into the condition of the mind. How has your week been so far? How is that influencing the mind? And with this attuned awareness about the physical body and the mind, we'll bring the attention upon the breath, and we'll simply experience the breath at the very center of the belly, without trying to create, allowing breath to flow. Note the response. How belly rises with the incoming breath, and how belly falls with the outgoing breath. As you experience the inhale, mentally repeat, breathing in. On the turn of the breath, breathing out. And continue with this awareness for a few moments. Breathing in, breathing out. Anytime the mind wanders, no fight, softly bring it back. Notice the response. Breathing in, breathing out. Namaste mudra. If it's comfortable for you, palms lightly pressed in front of the chest as you take a moment to set an intention, a sankalpa or dedication for your practice. Release your hands, chin to chest, and a few gentle blinks, opening of the eyes. Namaste. Now softly raise the knees up, knees come high. Thighs in towards the chest. You can grab behind the thighs. It feels good, go for in front of the knees or maybe a wrist or a forearm. Lift the spine, sit as tall as you can. Very comfortable, lift one foot. Feels good here, raise the other foot. If you haven't already done so, begin to put that little bit of conscious effort into your breathing. You're familiar and comfortable with the Ujjayi breath. Have a little length in your breath, nice and steady throughout your entire practice. This feels good here. Without disturbing much, turn your gaze to your right. Or recognize the length in the neck. Keep the gaze around mid-level. And to your left, smoothly to your left. Back to center. You can remain as you are, or you can ground the feet if necessary, but if very comfortable, release the hands. The intention is arms in line with the ears, palms to press and lightly gaze to the thumb. If this is a challenge in your shoulders, arms as low as you need to, challenge on the neck. Likewise, have the gaze front, don't force the gaze up. In any condition, if you are looking up, it should just be very slight tilt of the head. You're not dropping the head all the way back. Breathe really well. Exhale, release the hands. Release the feet. And whichever way is necessary for you, take the time, come all the way up. We'll work towards the front of the mat. Coming to Tadasana, about a foot's distance or so from the front of the mat. Feet together, toes and heels to touch. Giving yourself a moment to ground and share that weight evenly in all four directions. Hands to the sides of the body, fingers lightly open, gaze front, chin sets a little back. And be there. Feel that even weight, all four directions of the feet. Your second foundation through the base of the pelvic, lightly drawn up action. As a result, below the navel becomes engaged. Breathe. Mentally prepare for a few rounds of your sun salutation. Breath and movement as best you can, but no force. Breathe as much as you need to. Namaste Asana. Palms are lightly pressed in front of the chest. Straight line, left elbow all the way to the right. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, smoothly begin to raise the arms. In line with the ears if you can. A light bend in the knees, top to pelvic, slight back bend. Your next exhale, palms to face front, work front from the hip. Maintain the length in the spine. Folding deeply. Hands either side of the feet, whether you're on your fingertips or the palms, you can bend your knees as much as you need to. Head is released. Your next inhale, step the right leg back quite a good distance. Ground the knee on top of the toes, gaze is front. Push the hip a little. Next exhale, tuck the toes, lift the knee. Left knee right, Dvaipada, again slightly front. Retain the breath out as best you can. Ground the knees, squeeze the elbows close, rolling down through the thighs, the belly, the chest, the forehead. Then roll the shoulders and lightly tuck the hips. All the toes as best you can and pressurize into the mat. Your next inhale, lift the head, shift front a little first, and raise the head to chest. Roll the shoulder, untuck the toes, Bhujangasana. Next exhale, tuck the toes, bend the knee, push the hip up and back. Feet maintained together, Buddhasana. Bend the knees a little as you inhale, step the right foot front. If it's challenging on one smooth step, you're welcome to give a helping hand or even grounding the back leg, then stepping the right foot. Ground the left knee and untuck the toes. Your next exhale, tuck the toes. Left knee right, feet together, folding deeply. Note that the hands are still in the original position from where you placed them when you fold front. A good bend in the knee, arm in line with the ear as best you can, palms to face, heels remain grounded, inhale smoothly up. Arms in line with the ears, maintain the knees a little bent as you tuck the pelvis, gentle back bend. Exhale, Tadasana. Namaste. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, Urdhva. Extend it well, bend the knees, slight back bend. Exhale, work front from the hip. Hands either side of the feet, release the head. Inhale the left leg now, good distance, ground the knee on top the toes, push the hip a little. Exhale, tuck the toes, Dvaipada, shoulder over wrist. Hold the breath out, ground the knees, elbows close. Thighs, belly, chest, forehead, roll the shoulders, slightly tuck the hip. Next inhale, gaze front. Raise the Bhujangasana, roll the shoulder on top the toes. Exhale, tuck the toes. Bend the knee, maintain the distance between the hands and the feet. Push the hip up and back. Bend the knees a little as you inhale. Any variation welcome. The left foot all the way front. Ground the right knee, untuck the toes, gaze front. Exhale, tuck the toes. Right knee, left, feet together, fold deeply. Good bend in the knee, inhale, feel and work. All the way up. Feel the firmness in the feet. Palms to press, top the pelvis, light back bend. Exhale, Tadasana. Namaste. Inhale, exhale, inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, work front from the hip. Inhale the right, round the knee on top the toes. Exhale the way Hatha. Maintain the breath out, Sashtangasana. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, Bhudrasana. Inhale right. Ground the left knee. Exhale, folding deeply, no rush, take your time. Inhale, feel a mark. Mindful there is no dizziness. Gentle back bend. Exhale, Tadasana. Namaste. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, raise it. Exhale, forward front. Inhale, left. Exhale, the way Hatha. Maintain the breath out. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, Bhudrasana. Inhale, left. Take the time. Round the right knee on top of the toes. Exhale, falling deeply. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Tadasana. Namaste. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale right. Exhale. Maintain breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale right. Take the time. Exhale, falling deeply. Inhale, arm in line with ear. Exhale, Tadasana. Namaste. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, left. Exhale. Maintain the breath out. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, maintain the distance between the hands and the feet. Inhale, left. Take the time to get there. Ground the right knee on top of the toes. Exhale, falling deeply. Inhale, Ujjayi. Exhale, Tadasana. Padangustasana. Feet shoulder distance, quite a good distance. Toes pointing ahead. Hands on the hips. Knees as soft as you need to. Take it in here. As you exhale, feel a mark from the hip. No fight for depth. Parallel feels good. Perhaps you choose to go beyond if it's within your range. Releasing the hands, middle finger, next and thumb. Grab the big toes. Next inhale, lift the left and gaze front. As you exhale, fold in deeply. But no pressure, no force or depth. You're not using the strength of the arms to fold front. The engagement comes from below the navel. Base the pelvic lightly drop. The breath is long and soft. Next inhale, lift and lengthen, gaze front. As you exhale, if it's comfortable, place the hands underneath the feet, tips of the fingers, work towards the crease line of the wrist, and fold deeper once more. Breathe really well, mindful that there's no pressure or strain in the wrist. Next inhale, lift and lengthen, gaze front. As you exhale, one at a time, hands come to the hip. Knees soft. As you inhale, raise the torso towards parallel to the mat. I'll be here for a moment. Light arch through the lower back. The knee remains over the ankle. Good bend in the knee. If this is challenging or uncomfortable, you can be as high as you need to. Little practice works towards parallel. If it feels good, building a little further, you can extend the arms out in front. You can have the arms pointing down initially, but maintain the length in the spine. Little further practice, little by little, bring the arm in line with the ear. Okay, slightly front, but no pressure on the neck. Feel that firmness in the feet. The left and the right side of the body. The outer edge of the foot, the inner edge of the foot. Next inhale, pushing the feet into the mat, maintain the length in the spine. Feel and work them all the way up, really extend it. Hunch the shoulders up next to the ears. As you exhale, keep the arms extending, but allow the shoulder to move away from the ear. Shoulder blade moves down the back. Bring the feet together in Tadasana stance, or bring the palms to press. If this is challenging and you need to take rest, please do so at any moment. All is well, however, keep the arms extending. Sternum is back. Next exhale, fold to your right from the waist. Smoothly feel and work from the waist. The intention is maintaining the straight line across the waist, across the hips even, and the sternum comes and maintains a little back. Feel and work. Next inhale, smoothly all the way up. Shoulders are free, sternum is back. As you exhale, work to the left now. Working from the waist. If it's very challenging on the shoulders and neck, hands on the sides of the body is beautiful work too. A little practice, you're working to maintain the arms up. Arms working straight, just a gentle connection between the palms. Recognize if you're locking the fingers or interlacing the thumbs. Recognize that beautiful opening along the waist and the right side of the body. Your next inhale, come all the way back. Maintain the arms extending. If necessary, you can have the hands on the hips. Little practice, however, with focus on your point in front of you. Bend the right knee, lift the heel. Just feel a weight switch over to your left foot. You can be as you are. Already you're balancing. A little practice, however, raise the right foot up. The intention is almost raising the thigh parallel to the ground. We'll work towards. Beautiful. This is good. Your next exhale, simultaneously point the right toes down and we can extend the leg behind and release the arms out to the side. Flip the palms to face down, then extending the arms slightly behind you as you extend the right leg behind. Now you can ground the right leg if necessary. A little practice, the leg is up. Further practice, you're working forward from that hip line. The eventual intention is bringing your torso and the right leg almost parallel to the mat. Hands down by the sides of the body. Palms are facing the thighs. Attention to the hips. Often we'll hike the right hip up here, higher than the left. But as best you can, squaring the hip down. Straight line across the front of the hip. Breathe really well. Left knee, little bend if required. Recognize beautiful reaction. Outer edge of the left hip. Super. Little bend in the left knee. Maintain focus in your point as you inhale. Smoothly coming back. As best you can, maintain the right foot up. We'll raise the right thigh back up in front. The right hand is now resting on the right hip. The left hand is on the outer edge of the left or the right thigh even. As you inhale, you're creating length and sternum back. As you exhale, a slight twist to your right. Focus on the point to the right now. Even weight on the left foot. Recognize the reaction now. Arch of the left foot, reaction in the calf muscle. Inhale back to center. Extend the left arm out in front. Left hand can be on the hip, feels good, it's out in front. And let's raise a little upward. This is good here without disturbing much. Bend the right knee generously. You're trying to bring the heel towards the bum. Then drop the right knee down so the right knee is next to the left. Then reach with the right hand for the right foot. If necessary, the leg can go to the side so you can get the clasp. But then bring the right knee back to be nestled next to the left. This feels good. Just a mild arching through the upper back. Without extending the right leg out to the side, extend it backward. And kick the right leg into the hand. Furthermore, if you have the space, you can hinge front from the hip line. But keep the hips squaring. Kick the right leg into the right hand. It's a beautiful expansion of the chest. Steady your breath. Next inhale, smoothly bring it back. Bring the right knee back to meet the left. Release the left hand to the hip. The right hand comes to the hip. Raise the right thigh high. As you exhale, release the right foot to meet the left. Release the hands. Recognize the reaction in both feet. The reaction between the right and the left side of the body. The left foot, the calf muscle, the outer hip. Really, really well. Once you feel steady, hands to the hips, or perhaps you inhale and extend the arms. Really lengthen it. Focus on your point, bend the left knee now. Lift the heel, feel a weight, switch to your right foot. Little practice, raise the left foot a little. The toes can be touching the ground lightly. Feels good. Raise the thigh high. The sternum is a little back. Base of pelvic and below the navel is active. Feel the even weight in the right foot now. Superb. Your next exhale, point the left toes. Begin to extend the arm behind by simultaneously releasing the hands if you're not too close to a wall. Palms to face down and extend the arms behind. This is good here. Once your left leg is straight, you can ground the toes and just feel what it's like to shift the weight a little front. What's the reaction in the right leg? If all is well, however, you can begin to hinge front, smoothly working from the hip. Focus on your point with the eventual intention of working towards torso parallel to mat and the left leg also parallel. Feeling as best you can that squaring of the hip. But don't fight for it. Little bend in the right knee if you need to. Breathe. Beautiful. Little bend in the right knee. Focus on your point as you inhale, bringing the left all the way back. Take the time, no rush. Keep the foot up off the mat if you can as you raise the thigh high. Left hand to the left hip. The right hand is resting on the outside edge of the right thigh. As you inhale, lift, sternum little back. Exhale, little twist to your left. If it feels good, turn the gaze around also. Shoulders are free. Breath is soft. What's the response now in the right leg? Where are you feeling it in the right foot? Through the calf muscle now perhaps? Breath goes longer, breath goes steadier as the challenge increases. Inhale, take care, bring the gaze back to center. Right hand comes to the right hip. Bend the left knee generously, heel close to the bum as best you can. Then drop the left knee down towards nestled next to the right. Reach with the left hand, you can reach, extend the left leg out to the side initially to get the clasp. Then bring the knees back closer. Your right arm is extended in front now, front and a little up. A little arch through the upper back. Feels good, extend the leg out from away from behind the body, but keep the hips squaring. Further practice, smoothly hinge front. Recognize if you're hinging front that you're not extending the leg out to the side. Keep the thighs a little closer so you're maintaining that squaring of the hip. Then work from there. Breathe. Inhale, take care, focus on your point. Smoothly coming back. Left knee back to meet the right. We'll take the time. And this is good. Release the clasp. Left hand to the hip. Right hand to the hip. Raise the left thigh high. As you exhale, ground the left foot. Left foot to meet the right. Recognize the reaction now on the right leg. Outer edge of the hip. Beautiful response. Calf muscle, the soles of the feet. Taking the feet wider. So shoulder distance apart. And we'll be about 3 foot or so, maybe 2.5 foot from the front edging of the mat. So come away from the front edge of the mat. If you're facing the long edge, perhaps you want to face towards the short edge now, if it's possible. Hands on the hips, knees a little soft, take an inhale. As you exhale, work front. Working to the depth that's comfortable for you. Releasing the hands, grabbing the ankle or the shin, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, folding deeply, torso towards the thighs. Noting the response here, and the reaction, the difference between your first forward fold, just after your Surya Namaskar, and your forward fold as you come here now. Each exhale, work a little deeper. As you engage more through the base of the pelvic and the lower belly, helps the pelvis to tilt and turn. Next inhale, lift the head, gaze front. Releasing the hands to the mat in front of you, readjusting your feet as per Malasana, each of us being different. For some, we turn the toes out a little from where we are, or you can maybe maintain them almost parallel and releasing down. You can take a feet wider as long as there's no pressure on the knee, or if necessary, if you find challenging to ground the heels, bring the feet closer. Allow the heels to raise. Bring the feet to about hip distance. Feels good, hook the arm down the shin, palms to press, and lift the chest. Chin draws a little back in a mild double chin. Extend the breath. This feels good. You can maintain as you are, but fall as well, you raise the hip up slightly. You take your hands to about a foot or so in front of the feet at shoulder distance apart. All is well here, you can readjust your feet, perhaps turn the toes in a little, you can allow your heels to raise. Bending at the elbow, you want to hook the arm down the shin as best you can. There's many variations, this is the first option. You're thinking the shin is high up the arm, almost close to the armpit. Note that it's not knee on the armpit, it's the shin on the armpit. As you play around with Kakasana, if you're familiar you can jump straight in. If you're unfamiliar you can have a quick lock. With the gaze front, you keep shifting the way front until you can feel it in your hands. Then you can play around with lifting one leg, grounding there, and lifting the other leg, and grounding there. And you can play around with that for a few moments. Or perhaps that's your point for today. If it feels good, however, you keep shifting the way front. One leg comes up, no pressure on the wrist, and the other leg comes up. But no fight for depth. If you're familiar, you can continue. If that variation is perhaps uncomfortable or not accessible for a moment, you can build towards it further by being almost in the same setup. Allow the heels to raise. The hands at shoulder distance or so apart. You're thinking the point of the elbow will come between the calf muscle and the thigh, making sure there's no pressure on the knee. And the same on the opposite side. And it's the same approach. You shift away front, you keep having the gaze front. If you have the gaze down to check out what's going on, you can easily go head over heel. So keep the gaze a little front. And likewise, you can play around lifting one foot, grounding it, the other, grounding it. After some practice, without suddenly jumping, shift away front, feel it in the hands, one foot, and then the other. Most importantly, you're breathing. Don't hold the breath. When you hold the breath, you become very heavy And mindful you're not suddenly jumping. Suddenly jumping, put pressure on your wrists. Playing around for another moment. You can take rest when necessary. Make sure you're focusing front. You're not looking back to see where the feet are. You can look back to see where the feet are. You easily come off balance. Little by little, building your practice. Playing around just for one more breath. And then once it feels steady, release back into Malasana. We keep the arms extending here. Spine lifted and the chin a little back. Heels can be raised. If it's comfortable to extend your arms are pushing against the inner knee, almost a little lower, perhaps the calf muscle, inner thigh. No pressure on the knee if you're pushing outward. Beautiful. This feels good. Raise your hip up rather high and we'll readjust our feet so they're shoulder distance apart and feet are almost parallel. If your feet were closer, please take your feet wider to where your feet are firmly grounded now. Then raise the hip up to the point that you can get your knee over your ankle, leaning back to achieve this. Palms lightly press. Then this is good, maintain the first alignment of knee over ankle, then begin to release the hip down. I know one of your favorites if you're familiar with Utkatasana. The intention is dropping down to the point where the hip is in line with the knee and the knee almost maintained over the ankle. Palms in front of the chest. Once you've arrived, then draw your chest down as best you can, hooking the arm down the shin. And then leave there for a few breaths. Notice the response. The inner thighs, the groin, the response in the mind. Breathe. Your last breath. Beautiful. Stretch your hands front. Then walk your feet back. The downward dog. Good distance between the hands and the feet. Spreading of the fingers. Torso pushing lightly back towards the thighs. Mind if you're not leading with your ribs. The whole of the torso works back together. Breathe really well. Spread the fingers. Super. This feels good. Note that you can take rest at any moment. But if comfortable, bring the feet together. And as you inhale, raise the right leg up. You're raising the leg up to the point that you can maintain the even weight between the hands. If there's a wall behind you, you can bend the knees. You can bend the right knee even. The left heel now is stretching towards the ground. A long, steady breath. Your next exhale. Bend generously the right knee. Draw the thigh towards the chest. One smooth step or a few steps. Step the right foot front. In between the hands. Closer to the right hand. Ground the left knee and untuck the toes. If you have any sensitivity in the left knee, please do double over the mat as you need to. Then raising up. Hands are going to rest on the right thigh. The intention is the knee directly over the ankle. If necessary, you can reduce the bend in the knee. However, if your knee goes beyond the ankle with ease, perhaps you want to consider scooching the right foot further front. And lightly push the hip. A slight tuck of the pelvis. Hands can remain at the thighs, but if it's comfortable for you, take the hands behind. Roll the shoulder. Raise the arm up behind. As you raise the arm behind, notice that we're not lifting up the ribs. We're going to keep the ribs a little down and just work with expanding through the chest while rolling up the shoulder. If this is very challenging for you, you can be clasping opposite wrist, form or elbow behind also. Chin slightly drawn back. Beautiful. If you're in the clasp or hands behind, releasing the hands down by the sides of the body. If necessary, you can bring the hands to the mat so you can tuck your toes if you feel like there's a lot of pressure on the knee. Then raising back up. The intention here is simultaneously straightening both legs while lifting the back leg. Think feet pushing away from each other. Base of pelvic, lower belly is active. Focus on a point to help with balance. As you inhale, smoothly raise the back knee, straighten the front leg. As you exhale, how slow and steady can you work? The left knee even comes lightly to the ground. Inhale, raise it. Exhale, rebending the front leg. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. As you exhale, keep the left leg as it is, just bending the right knee through the points over the ankle. Then bring your chest front. Chest front over the right thigh as best you can. And push the left heel away. If necessary, ground the knee. Don't fight. If it feels good, you're up. But please note, recognize the hip. If you're not hiking the hip up and back, keep the right knee over the ankle. So as best you can, you're keeping that straight line, working from the left heel all the way to the hip. Feel and work. Don't fight for it. Feel steady without raising the chest to any degree, just raising of the hands. Beautiful. Exhale, ground the hands. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Adho Mukha Svanasana, the downward dog. Good distance between the hands and the feet. Fingers well spread. Note that you're welcome to take rest at any moment. Mindfully apply your up. As you balance our practice, you raise the left leg up with the inhale. The right heel now is working to the ground. The even weight in the hands. Feel and breathe. Left leg high is comfortable. Recognize you're not opening up the hip. Keep the hips squaring downward. Superb. Your next exhale, bend generously the left knee. One smooth step, or if required, a helping hand. Get all the way there. Ground the right knee. Untuck the toes, support for the right knee if necessary. Further practice, raising up, hands on the left thigh. Hips are squaring in a straight line across. Then push the hip front from there. The sternum is back. Hands to hips, or you can clasp opposite wrist, form or elbow. Little practice, however, interlace the fingers or rolling of the shoulder. Expand the chest a little. The chin slightly drawn back. Each exhale, a little deeper. Beautiful. Release the interlace if you're there, or any other variation. Hands down by the sides of the body. Stretch front if you need to for a brief moment. Tuck the back toes. No fight on the right knee now. And raising up if you did stretch front. Think feet pushing away from each other. Base of pelvic below the navel active. As you inhale smoothly, how steady can you work? Focus on your point coming up. Exhale. How softly can you land the back knee? Inhale, push the feet away. Exhale, regrounding. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. On the exhale, keep the hips squaring. Just bending of the front leg, so your left leg. Then bring your chest front. And hands either side of the left foot now. Keep the back leg up if you can, but note that you can ground the knee if required. Few breaths. Feels good. Still just playing around with your practice. Raise the hands. Recognize the beautiful reaction at the outer edge of the left hip. The response, front of the right thigh. palms if you raised. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, full variation of the downward facing dog, so feet are returned to shoulder distance apart. Bend the knees a little, smoothly. As you inhale, bring the right knee behind the right wrist, toe in line with the knee. Left knee behind the left wrist, toe in line with the knee. And gently roll up. Taking the hands behind, heel at the palm, towards the back of the hip to upper buttock muscles. Elbows work towards each other. Chin drops towards the chest. Slight tuck of the pelvis. Then feel a mark. Feel an arch. It's within your practice, reaching one hand back. Right hand, right heel. Left hand, left heel. But keep beautiful expansion in the chest. Note that it's not buttock muscles towards the heel. You keep pushing the hip front. Beautiful expansion, front of the chest, through the shoulder. If it's part of your practice, you can release the head back, but please don't fight for that. You're breathing, no matter where you are. Your next inhale, bring the head halfway back first, then the left hand, right hip, right hand, left hip. Come all the way up. As you exhale, bend at the knee for a brief moment, heels, buttock muscle to the heel. Then take your hands front shoulder distance, raise the hip, top to toes, without straightening the legs suddenly. Walking back with care to Adho Mukha Svanasana, the downward facing dog. Beautiful. And bend your knees. You can hop front or you can walk your legs front. Whichever way is part of your practice. Smoothly coming front, extending the legs out. Feet together, toes and heels to touch, hands either side of the hip. The shoulders lightly roll. If this is a challenge for you, knees can be bent, your hands can be behind you as you need to. Little practice. Dandasana, the staff pose. Sit as tall as you can. Sternum a little back. Chin is a little back. As you inhale, extend your arms. Arms in line with the ears, palms to face, if necessary, arms further front. Recognize what happens to the ribs. Sternum maintain back. Urdhva Dandasana, the raised arms. Your next exhale, slowly work from the hip. Feel a mark front. Releasing your hands to wherever they come to with ease. That may be your thighs, maybe your shin, ankle. If you're coming towards the feet, middle finger, index and thumb, grabbing the big toes, palms to face. Each inhale, no matter where you are, you're working with a little length. Feel a beautiful expansion created by the incoming breath. On the exhale, the base, pelvic, and lower belly remain active as you fall a little deeper. And maintain with this. Each inhale is a little length. Each exhale is a little depth. You know it's challenging, but mindfully apply. Staying active. Each exhale a little deeper. Beautiful. Stretch the arms in line with the ears, palms to face as you inhale, smoothly back. Going back to Urdhva Dandasana, the raised arms in a staff pose. Exhale, releasing of the hands. If necessary, perhaps if you're readjusting the mat, maybe coming towards the middle of your mat.
Bring the hands about a forearms distance behind you, so if the wrist was next to the hip or the elbow would land, it'd be about a forearms distance. And for me, preference of fingers pointing away, but fingers can be pointing towards your feet if required. Then this is good here. Bend the knees and take the feet to be about hip distance apart. Note that the feet are equally grounded. Outer edges, inner edges, toes and heels. If you have any challenge in the shoulder or the neck, please mindfully apply. Don't fight for depth. Now it feels good. Feel a firmness in the hands, firmness in the feet as you inhale. Just raise your hip up a little. Feel what it's like to share the weight. If necessary, the hands may need to come further away or closer. As you inhale further, raise the hip a little more. Still good. Base of pelvic, bottom muscle lightly engaged. Raise the hip up. Coming to the tabletop, but no fight in the shoulder, no fight in the neck. You're very comfortable. You can release the head back if it's part of your practice. And mindful enough, shoulders aren't rolling up into your ears. Keep the chest expanding. Keep the hip lifting. Breathe. Beautiful. Inhale, bringing the head back. Exhale with care. Bringing the buttock muscles to the ground. All as well, leave your knees drop out to the side and edge your feet together. And bring your heels in a little closer to the groin if that's accessible. This is good here. Begin to walk your hands towards you, so you're essentially lifting your spine. With the eventual tension, bringing the hip, the shoulder rather, almost over the hip, spine lifted. Keeping the right hand where it is. Left hand over both feet, fingers pointing towards the right side. As you inhale, sit as tall as you can. As you exhale, get a little twisted to your right. Feels good, the gaze is following. Inhale back to center. Returning the left hand to the left side and behind. Right hand over both feet now. Fingers pointing towards the left side. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, get a little twisted. The whole while, the knees are working the direction of the ground, but you're not fighting them to go to that direction. Breathe. Inhale back to center. Bring the left hand around to the front also. Raising the knees up a little, not entirely, but halfway up. I'll encourage you to come towards the front edging of your mat if you're anywhere close to the back edge. And to create space, mindful if there's any solid objects behind you. Middle finger next to the thumb, grab the big toes, palms to face. Really lift the spine. Focus on the point a little upward. Raising one foot, you can be here and alternate to the other foot. Little practice, both feet raised. Furthermore, little by little by little, raising both legs. Focusing on the point a little upward. With no strain on the neck, think base of pelvic, below the navel is active. Now the intention from here is rolling back and over. So rolling onto the back and bring the legs up and over. If you have any challenge on the lower back, any challenge in the neck, or just the back in general, please don't fight. You can lie softly flat on your back, raise your legs up and spread them apart. If it feels good, you're familiar with the practice, will smoothly come back. Chin lightly towards the chest. Make sure there's nothing solid behind you as you inhale. Smoothly come back. If necessary, you can have a bend in the knees. Further practice, you're working towards straighter legs. And if there's no walls or solid objects close, you can work with spreading the legs wide. As you're here, if your legs are up and over, maintain that active engagement through base of pelvic and lower belly. If you're lying flat on your back, please don't force. Maintain the chin slightly drawn back towards the neck. Legs are wide apart. Straighter legs if you can, if necessary, bend the knee. Beautiful. Well, move it and exhale. Bend both knees slightly. As you exhale, gently roll out if you're lying on your back. Smoothly come up, maybe a little hand support. Maintain the balance on the buttock muscle if you can. And work towards straightening both legs now with the feet together. Focus on the big toes or focus on a point a little upward. And if you can, toes back towards you and heels push away. Beautiful. This is good. Same intention as our last posture, to roll on the back. If necessary, to swing flat on your back, legs straight up as best you can. If it's part of your practice, you're familiar. As you inhale, legs straight if you can. If necessary, bending the knees, smoothly come back. Mindful you're not suddenly jerking, no pressure on the neck. If necessary, if you're just building the practice, you bend the knees. Further practice, working towards straighter legs. If required, the feet can be apart, building towards again. If you're lying flat on your back, you maintain the chin slightly drawn back, so lengthen the spine. Work towards almost stacking the ankle over the hip with straight legs, but bend the knees as you need to. Breathe. Super. Your next exhale, if the legs are up and over, you're going to roll out. If you're on your back, you're going to smoothly come out. Extend the legs straight as best you can. This is good here. Release the clasp of the big toes. Drop the legs a little lower, about 45 degrees. Palms to face. Leaning back a little also. Navasana. But don't fight. You can be in Navasana with the knees bent, the shins parallel to the mat, or the one-legged variation. And alternate at the point at the pace is comfortable for you. Mindfully apply. Breathe really well. Tolasana, you can ground the feet and cross the legs and hug the thighs in front, or if comfortable, maintain the feet up. Navasana, choose your variation. Focus on the toes no matter where you are, that engaging through below the navel. No force in the neck, chin slightly drawn back. Beautiful. Tolasana, whichever variation is best for you. Feet up or feet grounded, hugging the thighs close, lift the spine. Grounding the feet in front, but keep the chest towards the thighs. Keep the chest and the thighs relatively close. Bring your hands either side of your hip, then a little front. Then raise the hip up. Really well. Mindful of any pressure on the wrist, not suddenly fighting. Feels good, you can raise one foot at a time, be there for a few breaths, all is well, just for a few steady breaths, raising up both feet. Grounding the feet, grounding the hips, then release and rest. End of your practice. Coming into Shavasana, whichever way is best for you. Lying flat on your back, the knees can be bent, legs can be straight. You can be on the side of your body, you could be on the front of the body. Just take a few moments to readjust. Making all of the necessary adjustments. Grabbing any blankets or coverings, if that's helpful. And when you feel how you've made all of the adjustments, allow your eyes to close, the mouth to close, and allow the body to truly settle. End of your practice. And coming to the end of your practice, you can begin to release all of the weight of the body,
any tension that it may still harbour, any worry of the mind, any stories, conversations or narratives that occupy your mind that don't serve you, can all be released into the art, all being accepted and supported, never being too much. And safe in the knowledge that the body is held, body is secure. Set your attention free to move through the body. And just to note sensation. Note the sensation that's been brought about by our practice. The warmth, the vibration, the pulsing. As you begin at the very center of the palms, and notice any vibration, the palms of the hands, any pulsing. Noting the warmth at the wrists, at the point of the elbow, the light crease line at the inner elbows, through the shoulders, softly allow your awareness to move down through the ribs. You notice the response, the body at the ribs, through the waist, hips, moving down and through the sides of the thighs, the flaps of thighs, through the knees, shin bones, calf muscles, through the ankles. You notice the response to your practice at your toes. Must be experienced, any sensation at your toes. Your awareness comes around the toes and moves through the soles of the feet, heels, revisiting the calf muscles, backs of knees, thighs, buttock muscles. Moving up through the spine. Notice the reaction to body, the response to your practice of the lower back, middle back, upper back, through the shoulder blades, back of the neck, back of the head, the whole back of the body. Allow your awareness to softly diffuse through the whole of the scalp. Any vibration, any response. Allowing your awareness to move down the front of the body, through the forehead, ears, eyes, nose, the tongue, through the chin, whole of the face. Your awareness descends down the throat, collarbones, the chest, any response to the very center of the chest, the breastbone, the center of the ribs, and the whole of the belly. Whole front of the body. As you become aware of the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. What is whole body awareness? You welcome the even deeper essence of stillness to be experienced. A stillness in which resides that true, authentic, and welcomed rest. Whole of the body is still, and whole of the body is rested. Noting where you experience this stillness the most, then be there for a moment. still. Whole of the body is rested. And from this deep well of rest, of stillness, allow the body to remain within this nourishing holding. But extend your awareness, your attention to beyond the body. And as it extends beyond, allow it to begin to transition to a more everyday, a more engaged awareness. This awareness begins to influence your breath into being a little fuller, a little more conscious. This conscious breath begins to stir the body, it stirs the stillness at toes, at fingers, up into the head and the neck. The feet edge together. If it's comfortable for you, extending the arms up and over. Begin at your feet, point your toes, and your feet, and your legs. Take a big inhale, tight belly, shoulder, fingers, tuck in the whole body. Exhale, release. Right arm remains extended. Left hand to the belly. Folding the left knee. Then gently roll to your right. Come onto your side for a moment. Once you feel steady, gently push up to any seated variation. Eyes closed. Coming to the end of your practice, just take a moment to note any difference to the start of your practice, physical body or mind. Drawing the palms together, rubbing the palms, creating a little heat. Placing the hands over the eyes, gently cup. We're extending massage through the eyes, the nose, the cheekbones, the temples. Taking the hands a small distance away from the eyes. And gently blink the eyes open, gaze into palms. Namaste. Thank you all so much. I hope you had a good practice. Hope the rest of your day goes well. Look forward to seeing you at your next practice. Thank you.